I just wanted to say this real quick, Beau, because we moved on quickly, but no way in hell you would have ever beat me in a lateral raise contest. Moving right along.
Oh, let's go right now, bro. That sounds like some good fucking content, baby.
Happy New Year!
We did it. We made it.
What's up? Welcome back to Fax The King, first episode of the new year, 2024. I am Dr. Fax, a.k.a. Nate Collins, and I am out of Virginia, Wahoo, and I am with
The Butter King, Beau Allen, 7-year NFL vet from Minnetonka, Minnesota, and I went to college at Wisconsin. Go Badgers. Happy 2024, Fax.
Happy 2024. And I'm
New
sorry.
year, same bullshit for me this year, baby. I'm not changing a goddamn thing.
Me either. And let me start by saying, maybe you should be the margarine king after the weekend that you had. You were serving no butter, bro.
No butter. And that's what I'm torqued about. I'm torqued to be sleeping in my own bed fast because I went on the goddamn road tour of football games and I went 0 for 2 over the weekend. So I was in Philly over the weekend. They made your boy an honorary captain, which was honestly it was pretty cool. It was a big honor.
Pictures
It was awesome. And I was excited too because I went out to the coin toss with Kelsey, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, so like 2 or 3 legendary Eagles that I'm very close with. And there's only a couple guys on the team still that I played with, and those are like 3 of my closest buddies from the team. So that was really cool, and like never thought I'd be honored, in such a way as like a backup nose guard, basically. So backup Beau.
What up, backup nose guards? Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, baby. So it was really cool. I mean, I had a really good time in Philly. Went out there with my brother and my sister-in-law, and she'd never been to Philly. So, dude, we popped around and got some really good food. Went to a bunch of cool little bougie cocktail spots and stuff like that. And then went to the game on Sunday. The Birds could not get it done. It was funny. After the game, like when the family section, on the link, on the field, waiting for Kelsey and some of the guys to come out to catch up with them. And Kelsey gets out of the locker room. He's wearing a full gray sweatsuit, which is fucking hilarious. And flip-flops. It's January, it's January 1st or December 31st.
On brand.
He's got, and he goes, "You're never fucking coming back to a game." It was like the first thing he said to me. So you're not alone in thinking that, I was the reason that the Eagles couldn't get it done.
Before you keep going, quick question.
Yeah.
What kind of boots were you wearing?
You didn't like the suede boots? It's called swag, Fax.
Bro, just because I'm asking and I'm laughing doesn't mean I didn't like them. I'm inquiring.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question to your question.
No, don't do that.
Did you like the boots?
What does it matter? I want to know what kind they are.
Alan Edmonds.
And this is weird, asking you, what size foot are you?
I'm size 14. I think you might be as well.
Yeah,
I'm a size 14, I'll send a pair
15.
your way.
See, that's what I was saying. At the end of the day, I wanted to ask that question because guys with big feet, we have very limited options when it comes to dress shoes. So that's what I want to ask. But keep going after Philadelphia.
Yeah, so dude, game in Philly on New Year's Eve. Spent after the game, hung out with my brother and sister-in-law, went over to Kelsey's, had some beers, just chopped it up with him. Not a super late night. It was maybe out to 12:30. Quick turnaround though, 6 a.m. flight out of Philly.
Was that
back down to Tampa?
Was that hell, that flight?
Sucked.
Yeah.
I mean, the flight was empty.
Oh, really?
It was kind of
nice.
eerie, yeah.
Nice.
So I got through security in 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Because the Mummers Day Parade in Philly is a huge deal. And that's if you remember when Kelsey got up and did his Super Bowl speech, he was in that big outfit.
That's a mummer. Oh, yeah. Okay.
And so I got to the airport fast. Dude, there was maybe 10 people on my flight. It was kind of bizarre. Slept through the whole flight, but I had my car parked at the airport in Tampa and then landed, quick outfit change, had to put on some different shoes because Fax didn't like my boots. And then drove right over to a Badger alumni tailgate in a tailgate lot at Raymond James Stadium because the Badgers played LSU in the ReliaQuest Bowl at noon. So dude,
I love Raymond James. I've been to Raymond James a few times.
Yeah, I have as well. Honestly, not the greatest stadium, but it was fun. It was just fun to kind of a cool like double header for me, like go back to back. But dude, I'm exhausted, man. That's a young man's ordeal, and I'm an old boy. Like I can't be doing that every weekend. Like I'm flat as fuck today. I don't have any juice.
No,
It's tough.
bro, I feel you. And what I'm torqued about, I'm torqued honestly about holidays now, like as a father, because it kind of forces right now family to come to you. And
Yeah.
I think that's always a way better situation than having to like to pick up, even though like we did travel a little bit this holiday going down to Martinsville. But I'm also torqued that my daughter, she's finally getting long enough for
Long enough?
yeah, like for this, we bought her this baby jumper, and now like I can put like a little pillow under. She's really not ready for it quite yet, but if I put a pillow under, her feet can reach, and it's kind of cool to watch her be able to jump up and down like in this machine, and just seeing her grow every single day. It feels like every morning she wakes up and she looks bigger, and obviously that's what babies do.
It's like a jump trainer for her. You're just trying to get her like her vert going.
Yeah, trying to get those her legs. Her legs are so active. We have like these baby swings and these things that she like sits or lays in, and it's like she's doing like when you do at the end of workouts the abs, the bicycle kicks.
Yeah.
She's doing. I've seen her do that for like 5 minutes straight. Like so to see her now like be able to jump and move around and exert some energy. It's dope. It's definitely a dope situation for me.
Hopefully she got her mother's athleticism facts.
I know, for sure.
All right, well, let's talk some college football. I briefly touched on the Wisconsin Badgers. We could not get it done against LSU, but I'll be honest with you, like it was kind of a better performance than I was expecting from us. Jaden Daniels was out for LSU, but they still have like so many talented receivers, and their backup quarterback actually played pretty well. But we ended up losing. Wisconsin lost 31-35. We were actually driving to win the game and had a really bad like end of game series where we basically like fumbled the ball 3 times in a row. So we couldn't get it done. Disappointing day for Bucky, but it's always fun to watch your alma mater in person, especially when they're playing, in the city you live. So I was happy to go. Caught up with some old teammates.
Oh, I was just about to ask you.
Yeah.
Any old teammates?
Yes, a bunch of dudes I played with. There's a couple of guys still on the staff. Vince Beagle, saw him. He played for the Dolphins for a couple of years. And then Bryce Gilbert, Brock DeSico, a couple of guys I played with in college. And you know how it is, like, you're like, holy shit, like I haven't seen you guys in so long. So It's just so fun to catch up with the guys. And actually, Ali Marpet, who I played with in Tampa, he's a Bucs offensive lineman, Super Bowl champ. He came to the game as well. So had him rocking some Badger gear. But honestly, it's a pretty good performance, I think, from the Badgers offensively. Defensively, we left a lot to be desired. Malik Neighbors broke the school record and then didn't suit up in the second half. So I thought maybe we'd be able to, do a better job of shutting down LSU in their passing game.
Yeah.
But there's a question. I thought there was a very questionable touchdown when they tied it up. I think they tied it up 28-28. Chris Hilton Jr. had like this diving catch on the sideline, and it was called a touchdown on the field. I think if the refs would have called him like out of bounds and called it incomplete, it wouldn't have been overturned. So I thought that one was a little questionable. Bottom line is,
like loser talk to me, bro.
Dude, pull up the clip. You'll see, man. I don't think he got it, honestly. But I know you're a hater, Fax. You just like to poke the bear, and that's fine. It makes for good content on the pod, and I'll allow it, but shit, it wasn't a touchdown, man. So anyway, mostly it was just really fun for me to, watch the boys at Ray J and catch up with old teammates and shit like that. But what did you think of, let's talk about the college football playoff facts. Obviously,
the
a
winners.
lot to discuss. Before we get that, let's talk about Georgia FSU, because that was kind of, like the game of two teams. They both have chips on their shoulders. They both feel like they got fucked out of the college football playoff and they ended up playing each other. Dude, it was a fucking blowout. Georgia dog walked Florida State 63-3. What are your thoughts on this game?
Like, to be totally honest, once I heard how many people had opted out for Florida State, it's one of those things where maybe if like 5 guys opted out, this would have been a 21-point game. I still thought Georgia was going to win this game. And if you look back to Georgia's records, whenever they're in bowl games, they put up 50. They're putting up 50 points, and that's the type of team they are. Unfortunately, Georgia, they just picked the worst time to lose a game, and that's why Alabama snuck in over them.
Yeah.
I don't think we knew this was going to happen, but after hearing something like as unprecedented as 21 guys opting out and not playing, which I think is a huge I'm actually happy it happened because
Really? I'm not, man.
no, I
Sorry,
am
go on.
because I think it's gonna push them to hurry up and make regulations for the portal. That's what it's gonna do because you don't want to see this happen again. Whether a team is upset about a call or where they're at, whatever it may be, you don't want them to have. Or if they do this, schools need to start getting penalized, or they have to implement something because
They need to do like an NIL bonus for bowl games or something like that. Or like, do you get what I'm saying? To
I
just
do,
incentivize
but
these players to
bro,
not
they
opt
make
out.
enough. Yeah, maybe that is, but I think the guys, they make enough. And the situation with FSU, a lot of them are declaring for the draft, so it might be a better situation to get an agent, to get some money in your pocket, to get a nice apartment, getting your meals. You know how it is, getting ready for if you're gonna go to the combine or your pro day, whatever it may be. That might be a better situation for a lot of those guys at this given moment. And I think it's tough just because the optics of how many did it from one team and because of what happened.
Well, I think a lot of the Florida State players used, the fact that they were denied the college football playoff as an excuse to opt out. And when in reality, I think a lot of them were just kind of preparing for the draft. But it just rubbed me the wrong way, man. Like I've kind of mentioned this before in the podcast before. Like I was a guy, like I was a late round pick. So like I was never going to be a first or second round pick, which is what a lot of the guys who opt out, like that's their draft grade. They don't want to do anything that's going to fuck up their potential, earning potential in the NFL draft. And so it just seems so foreign to me. Like I would want to finish out with a bowl game with all my boys. Like you grind in college for that. But it just seems so counterintuitive to me, like to opt out of a game because you didn't get in. If anything, like, wouldn't you want to do the other thing? Like opt the fuck in, try to do everything you can to beat Georgia and throw a big fuck you to the committee and say like, hey, you guys fucked this up. Like we're all playing, we're beating Georgia and we're going to show you why we should have been in.
Let me cape for them a little bit. Think about it when you're in college and think about how much emotions for those guys at their age, like they had to go through not getting into this game. Because we all know how emotional that is. You want to play, the ultimate goal is to play for a championship. And all you can do is go undefeated and hopefully you get that chance. And they didn't. And like just emotionally, think about that and the thought of, hey, the next game we have to play Georgia. We have to play Georgia. If I'm a 20-year-old and I can leave to go to the league, why would I want to practice a whole nother month hard as fucking hell? Like to go, and if you really think like ultimately
and potentially get hurt,
you think about that, but also like you probably don't think you're going to win that game. Like, so it's a difference. And I want to ask you this. Are you okay with teams sitting? Like NFL's coming up, playoffs are coming up, teams are already in. Are you okay with teams sitting starters?
Yes.
So I feel like what's the difference with this? Like you're sitting starters because you ultimately want to rest them and or you don't want them to get hurt. That's basically what it is. You don't want someone you need
That's
to
not
get
your
hurt.
final game. Like when the NFL players are sitting starters, it's because they know that they're going to be in the playoffs and it's not the final game of the season or the final game of your career with a certain team.
Yeah, but like a lot of those guys know like, yo, like that final game really means nothing like in the grand scheme of me like going to the NFL.
I mean, it could if you ball out, it could really help your draft status, but I understand what you're saying. I think it's an interesting thing and it's just such a new experience. College football feels so different. I mean, we talk about it every goddamn week.
We said the transfer portal was going to be interesting, but like I don't think anyone like foreseeing this like really like going the way it is. And I think it's something that for real, like the coaches need to adapt. I had to talk about them. They're not even in the doc, but like Colorado and Coach Prime, you kind of like it's a timing thing right now.
Hey, it's a new year, Fax. We don't got to talk about the Buffaloes anymore, man.
We absolutely do because like the portal like is college football. Like if you don't know how to navigate the portal, you're at a huge disadvantage like right now, and that's what we're seeing because it's basically free agency. It's basically free agency, and we're just seeing like new versions of how it affects the college game as it is now.
Okay, let's talk about the college football playoff. The Alabama-Michigan game was a really fun one to watch. I love the Rose Bowl. Like, before we get too far into this, I love the Rose Bowl, man. I played in 3 Rose Bowls, disappointingly lost 3 in a row when I was at Wisconsin. But, like, dude, when I think about college football and I think about some of my favorite college football memories, the smell of the grass at the Rose Bowl, like, this sounds so dumb, but it's like something I can still remember, bro. I get chills thinking about it. It smelled so good in that stadium, and they're like so fragrant. The turf was like immaculate, and so that's why the stadium looks awesome, bro. That's why, like, in terms of bowl games, for me, coming from the Big Ten and having played in 3 Rose Bowls, like, I fucking love the Rose Bowl. That is the ultimate bowl game for me.
Was it the Rose Bowl where they came out and they seen guys taking chunks of the field out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't even blame them. I saw that and I was like, okay, that's kind of disrespectful. I
is it?
I should have done that, dude.
Like you said, I was just about to say, like,
that was my initial response.
It smells that good that guys are taking that shit for the road.
It's not even like the grass itself. Like, the turf is immaculate, but you're in California, you're in Pasadena. Like, every time we were out there every year, the weather was beautiful. But then, like, there's all the pageantry involved. Like, there's a rose queen or something like that. And there's, like, flowers everywhere. There's the parade, you know? So, like,
nice.
It's just, like, you just feel like you're wafting, like, you're just in some, like, idyllic college football, like, haven, you know? And then, I mean, the game itself I thought was really cool, too. It started off kind of strange.
Crazy.
Yeah. Like, it started off and I was like, oh, shit. You know how you have those games every now and then where you're like, this one's going to go off the fucking rails. Like, that's kind of what I was expecting after that first pick from McCarthy that got turned over. But the game itself was pretty interesting. I mean, the game started poorly for Michigan, and they really battled back. Like, when you're thinking about this game, Fax, like, what are the things that stick out to you?
Bro, the goddamn center for Alabama. He probably played one of the worst games of his career. His snaps, they were very, very often low or not where they needed to be for the type of plays and RPO plays that are based off timing. Like, he was single-handedly throwing the timing off a lot of plays for Alabama's that resulted in sacks, that resulted in turnovers, that resulted in bad throws. And
it's tough to get your quarterback is not going to feel comfortable in the pocket when he's unsure where the ball is going to be.
But it's more a vision thing. Like, when I have to take my eyes, like, off the coverage for even a split second to squat or to locate a football that I'm used to or should be in my mid-range to chest area every single play, it throws everything off for a timing standpoint, for a decision-making standpoint. And it was evident on the last play that, like, of all plays, it's like, bro, get the snap right. And I don't know if that's something where we have to credit to Michigan's defensive front. They were putting a lot of pressure on them up front. They were having a hard time.
D-tackle Mason Graham was the defensive MVP of the game.
Bro, they were getting into the backfield, like, quickly to the point that a lot of the plays, they didn't even look like they had a chance to develop. So it sucks to try to – I'm not blaming one person. It's a team sport. Yes, he had a lot of plays, the center, but it was a good game. But it's just disappointing as a fan when you see little things like that and you're just like dang, like, I wish the play would have got a chance to run its course, to really see some of these things taken to fruition that we didn't get a chance to see.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of love it how it really came down to the final play. Like, you love that. In the biggest game of the year, for these two teams, two very good teams that match up against each other pretty well. It's fun to see it really come down to the wire like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned that last play, and we can talk about that more here in a little bit. But, a couple other things I want to make sure I hit on from this game. I thought J.J. McCarthy played pretty well. He had 221 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Blake Corum, I've been fucking gassing him all year. I think he's a super tough player. I love the way he runs. I told you, Fax, I was cheering for Michigan because I like the Big Ten. I'm a Big Ten stan, but also one of my favorite coaches I've ever had. His name is Ben Herbert, total meathead strength coach. He's the strength coach for Michigan. And I just love how, like, physical they are up front, how they run the ball. I think their defensive line, their interior defensive line, like we've talked about them a little bit on the pods, like, they're physical, they're good athletes, and I think they're tough-nosed guys. So I want to give Ben Herbert a shout-out.
Shout out, Ben. What up, Ben?
Shout out Herb. Crazy guy, bald, super intense. He'll, like, just look at you like, you'll be doing like lateral raises or something.
I wonder what the percentage on for college guys who've had like a bold strength coach. Like,
dude,
like
it's
a
probably
bold...
up there. Like probably 70% of college strength coaches are bald. No, but dude, we do this shit in college where like, let's say me and you are like both D linemen. We're fighting for like playing time.
Yep.
You'd be like, all right, Nate, grab some 10s, some 10-pound plates. Beau, grab some 10-pound plates. Put us like 3 feet away from each other.
Lat raises.
They'd be like, if you think Beau is going to win this lateral hold, go on his side.
Here.
If you think Nate is going to stand on this side,
I hate
whoever the losing side has like 6 gassers. So like me and you are just staring at each other like arms are shaking.
Oh man, the shit we used to do in college, bro. College.
But anyway, sorry, I got distracted by memories of Ben Herbert and our time in the weight room at Wisconsin. But honestly, man, I thought this was a good game. I'm happy Michigan won. I really didn't want to see Michigan lose after like a lot of their special teams debacles in the game. You know, it's like the special teams from Michigan was tough. I think they had a missed extra point, missed field goal, a muff punt.
Yeah.
But I was really encouraged by Michigan's defense. I think they really put the pressure on Milroe. Like they know how mobile he is. And I think the Michigan defense did a really good job of keeping him contained in the pocket. They had 5 sacks in the first half and 1 sack in the second half. So 6 sacks total. And we've talked about how talented Jalen Milroe is as a runner. So to contain him and to get him down like that is impressive.
They did all right. I don't know if they really contained him. I think I
contained him on that last play, Fax.
No. Absolutely. But I just feel like also if you think about Alabama, all of their biggest plays were basically him like making it with his feet. And he had one questionable, like I think was a little bit of a turning point early in the game where he decided to slide instead of like falling forward and fighting for a first down on a third down. And then the following third down, it was like a third and super long. He's clearly short and he fights for it, but it was ultimately a good game, like you said. Like you can't ask for anything more. And also with the last play, it's also good to see. Usually you see a touchdown ending a game, but to see a defensive stop the way that game had ended, it's good to see the other side and make it feel like a kind of like a hero story. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens next week for Michigan, though.
Yeah, I got a question for you, Fax.
Yep.
After the game, Jim Harbaugh says that J.J. McCarthy is the greatest QB in University of Michigan college football history. How do you feel about that? A little guy named Tom Brady also went to Michigan. Do you agree with those comments?
So off the bat, I don't, but I'm not familiar with Tom Brady's college stats. So it's something where stat-wise, maybe that is true. But I think Jim is doing what he's supposed to right now. He has his quarterback. He wants to have his quarterback feeling the greatest he's ever felt for these next 7 days or however many days until this game. This is going to be the biggest game of his life to date. And I think he just wants him feeling on a high. He wants him feeling good. So he's doing all the right antics in the media right now to get his team ready.
Yeah, I think you're right. And it's interesting enough, Michigan's last 2 wins against Bama. In the year 2000, Tom Brady leads Michigan to overtime win in the final game, 35-34 over Bama. 2024, J.J. McCarthy, late win versus Bama in the Rose Bowl. So pretty easy comparisons to make there. It's kind of cool. I thought that was kind of fun how that came full circle.
Bro, yeah. And then the Michigan players, bro, top tier trolling after the game. Them making TikToks, doing the voiceover of Drewski's Alabama video is top tier. And I just wanted to say this real quick, Beau, because we moved on quickly, but no way in hell you would have ever beat me in a lateral raise contest. Moving right along.
Washington. Let's go right now, bro. That sounds like some good fucking content, baby.
Washington versus Texas. Bro, this game was
before we get going on this game, yeah, it was great. But, bro, it finished at 12:50 Eastern Standard Time on Monday night, which is Tuesday morning. Too late for you, boy, BA. I told you about the weekend I had. I fell asleep in the third quarter, and I woke up. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I had to check my phone to make sure Washington pulled it out. Anyway, that's a late game, bro.
I had a bet for the perfect score, and I had a score Washington 38, Texas 31. I was 1 point off of winning a nice payday, and it just didn't happen that way. But like you said, that game did end late. I was definitely dozing off a few times. But
dude, New Year's Eve into that, like, that's a young man's game, bro.
Lucky for us, it didn't matter. The action was early and often in that game. And Penix, Penix was dropping dimes. And I'm not going to lie, Quinn Ewers, he reminds me of my old teammate. He plays like Jay Cutler, bro. He has a cannon. He made a lot of good throws also. But Penix, the way he was hitting his receivers in stride, covered perfectly, and his receivers really coming through for him and catching everything.
Dude, the ball zips out of his hand. Like, he throws it. He throws it with such good anticipation too. Like, puts it on dudes like in stride.
And
it's
like,
great.
I don't want to say it's unorthodox, but it's unorthodox. It's like it feels like your TV's glitching. Like, you'd be like, wait, the ball came out. Like, at what part of his motion is that ball coming out? It looks so, but it's zipping, it's getting there, bro. That one touchdown, bro, it goes in between the defenders. Like, it's crazy to see him play that way. And he's shown us in the entire year that I feel like the bigger the stage, that Penix, he is ready to play, and he gets his guys ready to play, and they play for him. We see a lot of times, like, guys, you can either shy away from moments, but I think as a quarterback, he has all his guys like playing into the moment, playing big, and the ultimate goal was to get to this game, and they did what they needed to do at the time they needed to.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was cool because these two games kind of unfolded in the way that we had maybe expected a little bit, right? Michigan, Alabama was very physical and, it was like a tough-nosed game, maybe not as high scoring. And then Washington, Texas, like a lot of really cool moments, a little bit more of a shootout. Like, there was a tip pass that got caught. Like we were saying, Penix was slinging that thing.
Yep.
It's fun to watch, man. So I was actually pulling for Washington here. I don't know. Like, what do you think about the Michigan versus Washington, the championship game coming up? Like, how do you feel about that?
The way Penix was slinging that thing, it's a situation where Michigan, it's on if Michigan can slow down that offense. Because we all know that, like, Washington, what they're going to do is score points. They're going to score points, and I think the game is going to be, like, it's going to be solely off of how many, like, maybe the race to like 24. Like, it's going to be one of those type of games, but it's going to be like, I think it's going to come down to, I don't know, like, again, special teams, things like that we're not thinking about right now. But I'm not going to lie. Like, they actually ended up playing pretty decently and coming up in big spots. But just Washington's defense is just so finicky. Like, there's just plays. I don't know if they look small or just the matchups are bad sometimes for them. But we're going to see. I like Michigan, but Michigan going against a team that's trying to score points versus, I think Michigan is the best when they're just running the ball. Like, it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to come out with, because I definitely think they did change their game plan this last game, and they came out slinging the rock more than I thought they possibly would have been, especially with the first play going the way it did.
Can you hit me with a who you think's going to win and a score?
I would say I am going to go with Washington 38, Michigan 37.
Wow. So Michigan did open as 4.5-point favorites, Fax, just so you know. I kind of was going to say something along those same lines, but that's not fun. My heart tells me Washington's going to win, but I'm going to take Michigan just because I like to play, contrarian to you, Dr. Fax. I think Michigan is going to really control the clock, run the fuck out of the ball, and dominate Washington's defense physically up front. I know Washington's got a pretty big nose guard, so he's going to need a big game. I'm going to go Michigan. Let's think. Michigan 27, Washington 24.
It's either that or we're going to see if it goes into overtime.
It'll be like 45-42.
No, it'll be like 60. it'll be like 61-58 or something if it ends up going to overtime, bro.
A lot of people are obviously very excited about this game. Super Bowl prices, man. The cost of getting in to Houston at Energy Stadium is $1,100 to $1,200 each.
Lucky for them, all the big time players have NIL deals, so families Like families get to go to the game still. Ticket
Yeah.
prices, even with ticket prices going crazy.
A couple of my Bucks buddies were at the Washington, Texas game, Vita Vea and Kate Otten and a couple of those dudes. So I don't know if they're going to be shelling out $1,100, $1,200 to check out this championship. We'll see how that goes. All right, Dr. Fax, moving on. You ready? We're going to do fast facts here. Nate leads us through viral segments and quick hitters with some, rip that Celsius, baby.
First fast facts of the year, baby.
First fast facts of the year. Can't hold anything back, Nate. All right, hit me.
Okay.
What you got for us?
We're starting off with Jim Harbaugh. He who has already hit $2 million in bonus incentives, and we all know he sat out 6 games, but he already has won $500,000 for the Big Ten East title, $1 million for the Big Ten title, $500,000 for the college football playoff berth, and he could win another $1 million if he wins his next game with the college football playoff championship, all while being suspended for 6 games, and then just hired Tom Brady's agent, which means he might be out of here if he gets a win. Maybe either way.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like last year it was all about the Kelsey brothers. 2024 is all about the Harbaugh brothers, man. Jim and John are kind of fucking crushing it right now.
Bro, they really are. They really are. Next up, Jim Nance and Tony Romo describing jabroni on air. Shout out to The Rock, yo.
Bro, I feel like a jabroni is one of those things where, like, you can't really describe it. You just know it when you see it. You just can't describe a jabroni. It's just a jabroni.
I just think about when the jabroni was popular and The Rock made it, and I just feel like popping up the Vince McMahon meme. It was just such great times sitting back and watching Monday Night Raw and all that, and waiting for The Rock to come out and grab the mic. It was good times, great times. Next up, College Game Day. Reese Davis is talking about Jalen Milroe's clothing line, which is an acronym LANK, which stands for Let a Naysayer Know. And Pat McAfee interrupts him during the segment to say that he doesn't think that is what it stands for, making one of the most viral clips to date for College Game Day. How do you feel about this, Beau?
It was funny, man. I think we all kind of knew where we were all kind of thinking it. We're all kind of thinking it, but then Pat actually said it. You know what I mean? And then he interrupted him, and I think it was Herbstreit or whoever. I can't remember. They were like just dumbfounded. They're like, he's a professional. You can't interrupt him like during a spiel. But I kind of love that. I thought that was funny.
Shout out to Milroe. It's a double entendre right there. I love it for marketing, and let a naysayer know. Next up, we have Snoop Dogg will return to NBC this summer as primetime analyst for the 2024 Paris Olympics. What more would you want than Snoop Dogg narrating gymnastics?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Gymnastics,
sports, bro.
Or like, you know, the little like gymnastics where they do the dancing with the little things. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, with the ribbons.
Yeah. I just want to see Snoop comment on that, or like another super obscure. Like, I don't know, like a shoot, like, you know how they have like archery and stuff like that in the Olympics? Like, let me see Snoop comment on like some really obscure Olympic sports. I think that's going to be fucking great television, man.
I think it's going to be amazing. Great job, NBC.
Hey, Snoop's going to be like you, Fax. He's just going to be hitting a blunt and then commenting on sports. Man.
Oh, man. I wonder what the smoking laws are in Paris. They need to work that out for Snoop before he gets out there. Seriously. Next up, mascots. Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. Ched Z enters the chat. I woke up feeling the cheesiest, coach.
I'm the cheesiest.
How do you feel about Ched Z?
I mean, I like Ched Z. I like Cheez-Its. I'm kind of an extra toasty guy myself, but it's really the Pop-Tart Bowl or the Pop-Tart mascot that stole the show for me.
The Pop-Tart definitely stole the show, and then the whole production at the end of the game of him going into the toaster and then them popping out an edible huge Pop-Tart for the team to dig their dirty, greasy hands and gloves into.
Just gloves, yeah. Taped up fingers and shit.
So gross. But I love it. And I think they honestly birthed something new that like in a space that you always think about what can engage more people to watch and talk about it. But I think they did an amazing job. And I just want to throw a suggestion out there. Get a s'mores Pop-Tart now.
Yes.
Have multiple mascots. I want to see I want to see multiple Pop-Tart mascots dancing behind refs.
They're like fighting each other. They're like trying to take bites out of each other.
No, but also too the mascot race. Make them race around the stadium like they do baseball games. I love it. I can't wait.
They generated $12.1 million in exposure for their parent company, Kellanova.
Turn it up.
With this Pop-Tart. I just want to know, like, you know, before all this went down, how was that like board meeting? You know, like where they pitched the idea. They're like, hey, we're going to have a guy in a Pop-Tart costume get into a giant toaster. And they're like, oh, okay. And then we should have an actual Pop-Tart come out and then everybody can eat it. Like, there was someone in the room who was just like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck is going on? And then it turned into like a giant success with tons of different memes. I feel like they really leaned into it, man. I liked it. Like, the Pop-Tart was poking the ref. He was like messing around the sideline, and he just looked so corny in that corny ass Pop-Tart. I think it was great, bro.
And then on top of it, bro, that trophy is lit. That trophy is lit. They did a great job, hands down. It's a fucking toaster. That is like top tier. And like, it's one of those things, like you said, I wonder if the person walking into this meeting was super nervous or they were like, yo, this is going to be the best fucking idea. Everyone's going to love this shit. And I can't wait to present it.
I like to think that it was just some Gen Z kid. You know, he's like 20 years old. He's fucking Fauche's friend from his like frat house. He's pitching this idea. There's some old boomer, like Pop-Tart guy, like the old Pop-Tart family who's just like, what the hell is this? Like, this isn't going to work. And then it just is a huge viral marketing success. I like that, man. I like when companies like do crazy shit like that. It's a good time.
Yeah, that was absolutely great. And that's a good way to end the first Fast Fax of the year.
Yeah, one other thing I was hoping we could comment on.
I forgot.
We kind of missed this. But ESPN, they did some B-roll of Bourbon Street.
ESPN missed it too.
Yeah, ESPN definitely missed it. And there's a woman flashing for some beads on Bourbon Street during the Sugar Bowl.
Yo, that's when I seen the actual screenshot of it, I was like, there's no way. And then someone posted like a video of the commercial coming on, and the fact that they did not catch that, and that people make mistakes. People in real time who work on jobs, they make mistakes. And for something like that to slip is absolutely crazy. But hopefully that girl got the beads she was trying to lobby for.
All right. Hey, moving on. This is my favorite segment. We talk a lot about, you know, sports stuff, college football, guy stuff, Zyn, energy drinks, Celsius. And so you're listening to this pod at home, you're like, what am I supposed to talk to my girl about in 2024? We have no common areas of interest. She does not care about the Pop-Tarts mascot. This is what you talk to your girls about, boys. Heatless hair curlers are all the rage. Take it from your boy, the Butter King. I have long, beautiful hair that I take very good care of. These heatless hair curls, I'm very interested in these. Why is this a big deal, you might ask? Beau, why do I give a fuck about heatless hair curlers? And I'm going to tell you, heat is bad for your hair, okay? Curling irons can damage 85% of your hair's keratin proteins, and this can cause your hair to become brittle and dry. And we don't want that. You don't want that for your girl. Your girl doesn't want that. So what do? This is what you do. You go on Amazon.com, okay, and you order the TikTok heatless hair curlers for long hair. They are $9.99. Basically what you do is you leave it in overnight, you curl your hair around it, and it comes out looking absolutely luscious. So I think on the pod at some point, we're going to get you boys some heatless hair curlers. I'm going to be looking fucking fresh. I'm going to show you guys why this is going to be all the rage in 2024.
Well, I'm going to test it out for all the black folks out there with dreads, and maybe it'll work for us too. Maybe it won't, but we got two different style hairs, so maybe we could check it out for sure.
Yeah, we'll do a little experiment, see how it comes out.
And bro, you're crazy. You basically you did a free ad for something you could get yourself a little promo code for, bro. You got to look into that, bro. If you need a marketing manager, holler at Dr. Fax. I got you, Beau.
I'll holler at you, Fax. All right. This is all I got for you. At the end of the day, if there's one thing I've learned after this weekend, New Year's Eve weekend is a young man's game. Fucking exhausted today, bro.
Oh, I bet you are. Guys, appreciate you. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe on all platforms. Fax the King. We appreciate you. We all hope everyone brought in their new year safely, and we're excited for the future. And we'll see you guys next week. Remember, every Wednesday on all platforms, Fax the King. Hit us up, like, comment, and subscribe.
Tell a friend.